speak with you about a very narrow segment of this undertaking of publishing a book, namely dealing with a national publishing company. Pointing out that probably most books aren't published with national publishing companies. For a variety of reasons, may not even be the best way for most people to publish a book from a financial perspective, particularly, but there are just other great options, from self-publishing to the use of independent and regional press. There is, of course, the academic press, which is quite consequential. And one narrow segment of the market would be the national publishers. And listening to you today, I will observe some things that are different, but I'm also hearing an awful lot, at least as it relates to the marketing part of it, that's very similar, that's not dissimilar. Donnie pointed out that in large measure, how you go about this depends on what your objective is. Specifically, my objective was to get out a particular message about a person. Well, it started out as being about a person, Thurgood Marshall, a person whom I met in 1975, and over a period of years concluded that what was being written about him was not accurate, and not so much about what he did, but what kind of person he was. Just there needed to be at least one more biography that focused on that. What kind of person he was, and how did he get to be that way? And then over a few years, I concluded that it really couldn't be done well if it wasn't done by some categories that I fit into. It really, to understand it to some extent, it was helpful to be a lawyer. It would be very helpful to be a Baltimorean. And it was also helpful to have started at least gathering some information many years ago, because many of the people who were his contemporaries were no longer around. And this is something that I'd started to do, is to interview, before I even decided I was going to write a book, his classmates and relatives, many of whom I knew. And frankly, it also was helpful to be a professor with eager law students, because much of the work required just hours and hours and months of digging in archives and legal documents and materials that really are very, very time consuming, because the period of time that I would be mainly dealing with was the 20s and the 30s.